We got this next game, Eric Rosen against Simon, and I think it's Simon or Simon, but this game was played in 2017, and his rating at the time was 2369, and his opponent rating was 2604. Let's see who wins this game. So we got Eric Rosen playing the London system. Let me just blitz through these moves right quick. D4, D5, bishop to F4, and then after bishop to F4, knight to F6, E3, and then we got the move C5. And then his next moves after this is knight to F3, C takes on D4, and I'm just gonna guess that it's E takes on D4. Yep, I am correct, E takes on D4, and the opponent tries to put pressure on his London system by doing the move queen to B6, hitting the B2 pawn, but Eric knows that he shouldn't even care about that. He can just do the moves knight to C3. If queen takes on B2, knight B5 would be a bad deal for the black pieces. So after going to knight C3, bishop to D7, and then in this position, we got the move knight to E5, hitting that bishop on D7, and maybe hitting that F7 pawn, maybe like putting pressure on the opponent. There might be a sacrifice on that square, you never know. But that knight on E5 is looking pretty good, and that's why his opponent just did the move A6, which doesn't have anything to do with the knight on E5. After A6, queen to F3, the opponent, Simon, did the move E6. And what do you think he did next here? Eric Rosen, you are crazy for this move, but he did queenside castle, which a lot of people will be afraid. And let me just describe why. Because of this open C file, so this rook can go to C8 really quickly. This queen on B6 is hindering this pawn from B7 to go to B5, but there is some scary factors that could happen. Maybe sacrifices like bishop to A3, knight to C6. A lot of things can happen in this position, but Eric Rosen was ready for the fight. He had this fighting spirit, and that's why the opponent was like, oh, there's nothing yet. Let me just get my pieces developed by doing the move knight to C6. And Eric Rosen was like, okay, I'm just gonna take your knight. That's simple enough for me. After bishop takes on C6, now the real party started, especially with the move G4. G4 is special. Like he can't say the word using, but he's using George right now to maybe do G5 to attack their knight on the F6 square. And so that's why his opponent just did the move queen to A5. And after queen to A5, king B1. Usually if you're castling on the queen side, king B1 is usually always a good move. I can't say always, but it's usually always a good move to protect that A2 pawn. And after queen A5, king B1, B5 happens. B4 is going to be attacking the C3 knight, and let's see how Eric Rosen defends this attack. After B5, bishop to D3, then we got the move B4, and yeah, it's becoming a little bit sticky, but at the same time, this isn't losing for the white pieces. Not yet, or maybe not ever. Know what I mean? Just don't know. After the move B4, knight to E2, knight to E4, then Eric Rosen did the move knight to G3. And then black became a little bit, I don't know, impatient in this matter because they did the move knight to C3. After knight to C3, this is already winning for white. But in a human perspective, without me saying that, without me giving you like the chess engine or whatever, you would think, oh snap, if I take that knight, pawn takes, there's moves like rook b8, there's checkmates in 2 that might be ready with queen b4 afterwards. What is exactly going on here? But Eric Rosen took the knight because if king went to a1, queen takes on a2, and that would just be checkmate. So after b takes on c3, b takes on c3, and then we have the move bishop to a3. After bishop to a3, wait a minute. Did I just give black 2 moves? I think I just gave black 2 moves. I'm pretty sure I skipped a move. So it was b takes on c3, b takes on c3, then now it's white's move, king a1, and in this position, bishop a3 happened, threatening bishop b2 check. But Eric Rosen in this position decided to do rook b1, and then bishop b2 probably looks scary to the average person, but Eric Rosen knew what he was doing, especially after just sacrificing the rook for the bishop. Rook takes on b2, c takes on b2, and most people would be like, okay, let me just capture the pawn back, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with that, right? Right? There shouldn't be anything wrong with just capturing the pawn back. But Eric Rosen in this position made his king super safe with the move king b1. And just to let you know, taking the pawn was winning too, but not in this way. Because now you're using your opponent's pawn for a shield. So it's kind of like a regular castle position, but with your opponent's pawn in the middle. Hopefully no pieces jump into the c1 or a1 square, but that doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. That's why in this position, Black decided to do the move kingside castle. And after kingside castle, we have the move g5. And you already know what Eric Rosen's plan is. Now it's my turn to attack. You already had your fun. You wasted all of your pieces. There's no other checks that you have on my king instead of queen takes on a2. And this position is completely busted for the black pieces. So let's just continue. Not only was this position already losing, but this move just made it a lot worse. And if you don't know what en passant is, please look at my beginners playlist, because Eric Rosen did the move g takes on f6. So you take the pawn like it was on f6 because en passant reached all the requirements. After g takes on f6, rook takes on f6. Then Eric Rosen did the move knight to h5, rook to f7, and then the almighty push happened on the g file, rook to g1. After rook to g1, bishop to b5, attacking the bishop, trying to exchange some pieces because white literally has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces trying to attack this king, and black literally has 1 piece defending. That's a bad sign, and you don't even have to calculate anything to know that there's some type of combination that white can use here, which if you didn't see knight takes on g7, then you are sadly mistaken, because this move pretty much dominates the black position. After knight takes on g7, rook takes on g7, rook takes on g7, king has to take on g7, and after king takes on g7, bishop to e5. Now let me just show you all this checkmate right quick, because this checkmate is crazy. If the king goes to g6, queen h3, king at g5, then f4 is checkmate. With both of these bishops taking care of these diagonals, this b1 to h7 diagonal and this a1 to ha diagonal, and this pawn is attacking the king, and this queen is taking over this diagonal, this h3 to ca diagonal, and this h file. So this is definitely checkmate, because the king cannot go on any squares that would put himself into check. That's why the opponent went to king g8, probably thinking, okay, if I only survive this attack, then I could have maybe some more moves I can play, maybe exchange these bishops, get this queen e1 check in the game, maybe rook b8 after that, and I can probably get a draw. But no, Eric Rosen sealed the deal with this last sacrifice. Bishop takes on h7. And after bishop takes on h7, black resign. King takes on h7 leads to checkmate in 2. Can you find it? Actually, pause the video. Actually, I already showed you which piece I'm gonna move. Queen f7, attacking the king, and after queen f7, king h6, bishop f4. Amazing checkmate to be looking at, an amazing defense on the queen side, castle and queen side, attacking the king with no worries at all, just using g-pawn. The g-pawn push up the board to attack the knight on f6. The knight went somewhere else. We don't ever know where that knight went in this position. And this was an awesome game by Eric Rosen. Hey, hopefully we can look at some more games by him if this video does well. So make sure that you like the video. Make sure that you subscribe. I'm glad that I'm a normal YouTuber now. I say the words like the video and subscribe. If you haven't did it yet, you had 10 seconds to do so, and another 5 seconds to do so because of that last sentence, and an extra 5